you about somebody who had an opportunity with you and they fumbled it. So we have someone who has learned their lesson through the loss of you, but they have never given up or gotten over you. And they are making plans. They want to show you just how important you still are to them and that they're willing to do whatever it takes. I know that I want you in my future and I'm working on making the proper plans. So maybe they're looking for a place for you all to live. Maybe they're planning some incredible vacation or buying some gift, but they feel like they have to make it very clear that they have learned their lesson. Hello, Key Controller. How you doing? Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. You can find that in the description box along with more information on how to become a member and also how to find my homemade soy candles on Etsy. Thank you to those that have checked it out. Hello, Gracie. Hello, DFA. Hello, Deborah. How we doing? Let's dive in. What should we start with? We're gonna go with the Angel Tarot. What else do we have, please? I hope you're having a good one. What else? Luia. I'm probably saying that right, but forgive me, I don't really know how to handle 5 vowels in a row. This is the swiftly hearkening god, or the Two of Cups. Fruition provides expansive intelligence and gives the grace of God. So I do think this is someone who has learned quite a lot and healed quite a lot, and they have a deeper appreciation for the connection that they have with you. And we have the Empress. Fertility and fruitfulness assures peace between married couples. So go big or go home, this person might actually be preparing to propose to you. The name on this is Michael. I don't know if I'm saying that right, hopefully. So there's no messing around here. They know they want to spend their life with you and they're willing to be very clear on that intention with you. I think people are kind of divided on that, DFA. I feel like what I've heard specifically is that you should be gifted your first tarot deck. But yeah, I've definitely heard that. I'm not entirely convinced it's true, but I do think that more importantly, when you read tarot for yourself, you tend to see what you want to see. I myself tried to read and got frustrated years ago because I didn't want to see the message that was there. And at this point, I don't have an interest in reading for myself because I know it's inaccurate. My gift is to read for other people. Hello, Nat Nat. Welcome back. Hello, Rachel. What's up? So we also have Ailechia. I hope I said that right. The High Priestess, success, protection from magistrates. So this is someone who has gotten in touch with their intuition. They have learned from some issues in their past. And I feel like they've also been able to forgive somebody that had been difficult for them to let go of or to cut the cord. It doesn't have to be a romantic person that they had to forgive. It could be a parent. It could be a family member, right? But this is somebody who has a different energy when they come back around from when they knew you. Lilka Hia, I think is what I'm supposed to say. King of Pentacles, the gentle god. Obedience and causes harmony and peace, calms anger in anyone. So I think they had some anger issues, some issue that they needed to address, had to deal with forgiving someone from their past that they were upset with. So it does seem like they are operating in much calmer energy than when you initially dealt with this person. Congratulations, Pompano. How are you doing? Oh, I hope you have an awesome weekend as well, Deborah. So we have the Queen of Wands, the Hermit in the reverse, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups in the reverse. So they have been working on their healing. They feel like you're the only person for them. And yet they have this issue. When I come back around and I make this offer to you, then how do I demonstrate that I'm not the same person as I was before? How can I make sure you don't just like keep me blocked or hang up on me or leave me on red, you know? Hello, Miss Princess. How are you doing? Hello, Lemonade. How's your day? Hello, Tiana. Hello, Morgan. How's it going? Yes, thank you for the likes and the subscribes. I appreciate it. What else do we have, please? We have the Ace of Wands and the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Justice in the reverse. So I want this second chance. I'm coming back around, but I have to find some way to demonstrate for you as opposed to just communicate to you that, you know, I've changed, I've worked on myself, I've let go of, maybe they had some tendencies to self-sabotage. Maybe there was a third party that caused problems in your connection in the past. But I feel like this is someone who is showing up confident because they have addressed the things that were challenging or causing the drama in your relationship. But the thing that they're less confident on is convincing you of that. What else do we have? We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. I think you're going to hear this person say that one of the best things that happened to me was losing you. And you'll be like, I'm sorry, what? And they're going to explain it's because when you walked out of my life, I realized that I couldn't avoid that healing anymore. So you woke this person up. You helped them to see that it was time for some healing, time for some change, that they couldn't continue doing the same thing over and over again. So you were a catalyst for this person to make the changes that they had just been kind of like ignoring and didn't really want to deal with. So you helped them to see the truth. You helped them to acknowledge that they were stuck when they were, I don't know, the way I'm seeing it is one of those toys that can move on its own, whether it's remote control or it just, you know, has a battery and it walks forward, but it runs into a wall. So they were walking and walking and walking without actually getting anywhere. So you helped them to notice, okay, I have some work I need to do. I have some changes that if I can actually manage those changes, then I won't just be like walking into the wall anymore, you know? That's true, Key Controller. So we have Page of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. So they're going to be bringing a gift for you. They know that you probably are, I think they found out that you might be single or that you might have, you know, spent a lot of time on your own, but they want to take advantage of the opportunity if they're given one and have like their best foot forward. Thank you, Gracie. Let me add that for you. Does Jay have any long-term plans with me? Thank you. I have added that for you. Oops. And let's go with, we're going to go with the Spellcaster's Tarot. Hello, Pedro. Hello, Mac. How are you doing? Mac, I love that you're using the member emojis. I love Lucy and Dr. Pepper. Sadly, I don't have a Dr. Pepper, but that's okay. What else do we have? 8 of Cups in the reverse, 9 of Swords in the reverse, and the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. All right, so the question then is, if I am very clear with you that I want a long-term relationship and you're the only one that I want, if I tell you that I have dealt with the things that were problematic, would you be interested in actually, seeing me again, being with me, or giving me another chance? But they can't just send like a, hey, what are you up to kind of text message, right? They have to be very clear. Hello, Joelle. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Star Trekker. What's up? So we have the Queen of Wands in the reverse, 10 of Swords in the reverse. I feel like there was some insecurity or some anger issues, and that could be tied together. And this is what they've recovered from. Now, in some instances, that insecurity or anger could have been tied to an issue with their mother or with an ex, perhaps. But they have no longer just like left that to rot in the corner of their minds. They have brought that forward and dealt with it. They have forgiven someone. They have let something go. So you might even be able to feel when you're around them that they have lighter energy. Hey, Star Trekker, I've seen you on here a few times complimenting me, and thank you for being kind in that regard. But I would much rather see you enjoy chatting with the other folks in the live chat than talking about what I look like. If I'm honest, that's just what I would prefer. Because there's some really cool people in the live chat. So we have the Page of Wands in the reverse and the Six of Wands in the reverse with the Hierophant. They're going to be very clear that they want a relationship. It's obviously we've got to be patient and make sure if you're coming back around to try to pursue something again, you can't just assume like I'm going to dive right back into a relationship with you. We need to make sure we're on the same page, right? So they acknowledge that they messed up the previous time and that they could have been a better communicator, but they're also making their intentions very clear. This is what's going on. This is why I'm here. I'm not looking to cause problems like I did last time. And I've let go of the issues that, maybe caused me to be a bit immature in terms of how I approach the connection with you. Hello, Raziel. How are you doing today? Just a chemical reaction. What else? We have the Fool, the Two of Wands, and the Two of Swords. Yeah, there is a different energy that you're picking up. And this is because they have let go of a dark attachment or some insecurity and anger. So before you make a decision on this person, make sure that you are trusting that intuition and discernment, because I think it would confirm for you that they're operating from a different place or they have different energy. Thank you, Joelle. Let's get that added for you. What do you see happening between Raquel and Helena by the end of the month? I've added that for you. Thank you, Joelle. Hello, Indra. How are you doing? Helena never goes away, it sounds like. Dang. All right. Well, what else do we have? Six of Swords in the reverse. Page of Cups in the reverse. And the Page of Swords in the reverse. Some people come back around and they apologize, but it's just kind of like a surface level apology. This is someone who's going to be very specific in their apology because they want you to know they have actually, I've got that added. Thank you, Indra. They have actually worked on the things and associated the things that they did or said to you and how that might have felt for you. So it's not just like a, I'm sorry that I hurt you. It's, I'm sorry that I let my insecurity dictate how I approached our connection and that resulted in some jealousy. Like they're going to get like methodical. They're going to get specific. They're going to get maybe even sound like a little bit like, I just got out of therapy, right? And I'm using all these words just to be very clear with you that this is not some repeated cycle. They are a different person because of the approach that they have taken to healing and forgiveness. We have the High Priestess in the reverse. And the Three of Cups in the reverse. So specifically, they're going to let you know that someone who negatively impacted their perception and their approach to love is probably no longer in their life at all. This is somebody who would have influenced their love because they were an ex or because of maybe even being raised by this person. Ooh, Joao, it repeated it. I've written down your name again, Joe. So if there's another question, you let me know, but I don't want you to get, like, I don't want you to lose money because it's automatically redoing it. So I'll keep my eyes peeled if you have another question, Joe. Hello, Holy Smoke. How are you doing? Hello, May Marie. The title made you laugh? Excellent. It will take an extra. I feel it. You know, sometimes you just know that it's done, right? Oh, you're so right. Thank you, Joe. Um, Sorry, Joe. I'm glad you were able to set me straight there. And I might add those together. Indra, if you would be so kind to let me do Joao's readings together. And did I say hello to Pedro? Hello, Pedro. Let's see. We're going to go with the romantic Lenormand. What else do we have, please? Thank you, Indra. I appreciate it. The Scythe. So they cut somebody out. They are no contact with an ex or a family member that was a problem in your relationship. So, you know, maybe they had a meddling family member. Maybe they had an ex that was always trying to get back with them. But we have someone who's saying, I know what I need to do, or I knew what I needed to do, and I have done it because being with you is important to me. Hello, Rebecca. How is your weekend going? Thank you for the tip. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. I'm happy to help with that. And if anyone in the live chat wants to send Rebecca some calming, helpful energy, I appreciate that. Not yet, Joelle. We're at about 20 minutes, so it'll be another 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll start the personal readings. Hello, Kanga. How are you doing? Not Yoko. Yeah, I'm gonna put money on that. Hello, what's up, Lemon? And I avoid the first word because YouTube gets weird with those 3 letters, you know what I mean? We've got the Anchor and the Rider. Uh-huh. So if this was someone who didn't know how to approach love with the long term in mind, or obviously there was a third party that was causing issues, this is someone who's like, I've thought of all of the things that got in the way of our relationship, and I'm ready to deal with it the right way. I'm ready to pursue you and not have that problem persisting or causing issues for us. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you for doing that. What else do we have? We have Death, the Queen of Wands in the reverse again, and the Ace of Wands. You know, there are a lot of things, a lot of triggers in the world. There's a lot of external circumstances or situations that can cause a person to lack confidence. I love that the Death card has a cat with a mouse, because this is really somebody who was able to get to the root of the problem. They have changed, they have ended some connection that made it more likely that they would lack that confidence. And as a result, now we have this opportunity for new energy and a desire for that second chance. I know I could do it better now because I am no longer influenced by this person who has a really negative attitude. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. 6 of Cups in the reverse. 9 of Cups in the reverse. Knight of Swords in the reverse. Goodness, goodness, all these reversals. And the Sun. This wasn't an easy path for them to walk. It's probably been a while since you've spoken with this person, but they've been a busy bee. I do feel like for most of you, this is a family member or someone they maybe have a family with, and that immature behavior or that ill-informed approach to love, it was something that was deep rooted. They had to, it's like pulling out teeth, right? It was a part of me, but I recognized that that was making love impossible because it made me reactive, or it made me combative, it made me defensive. But now I see a different approach. Now I see a different way to deal with my anxiety or my connection to you, and it's a healthier way. Hello, LHS. How are you doing? The Lovers in the reverse and the 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. This is someone who has been abstinent or has been a bit of a hermit lately. They have been investing in very little because they wanted to be very focused on their healing. So they might have pulled back from a number of friendships. They certainly were not dating anybody, but they also had to analyze those relationships family-wise, right? Gracie, are you commenting on how they have to do that, or you're asking? Yeah, you're right, Raziel. There has to be some teamwork there, right? So we have the World, the 2 of Swords in the reverse, and the Star. So they're coming back around, a changed person, more decisive. They are self-aware, and that's something they lacked before. If you're self-aware, yes, you can still be insecure, but I think it's a lot less likely. If you're self-aware, you know what you got going on, you know how to be authentic, you know how you interact with others, and you're probably also more aware of what influences are negative or positive in your life. But with this star energy, it's definitely, I feel, a very true effort, a very dedicated effort to be a better person, to accept that there were things that went wrong in the past that were within their control, and then actually take that control seriously and make those changes that they needed to. If you said, I don't want to date somebody who drinks liquor, they quit, you know? Not because that's what would get you to love them, but because they acknowledged this is something that impacts my healing. This is something that makes it difficult for me to be myself. Seven of Wands in the reverse, Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. Heavy on the fire energy here, so we might have Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius featured prominently in their chart or yours, but they're also quite bold coming back around, and that could be why. They know you're going to be not like you're going to be hesitating, right? Or you're going to have some walls up. You're not going to really expect them to do the right thing by you, but they also know that you're perceptive. So their hope is that you're going to be able to see that their energy has really changed. All right, this is the Love Tarot, which I don't like the name because it's not a tarot, it's an oracle deck. But we will still use it. What else do we have? Others' opinions. There's that third party issue. I feel bound by my culture and my family's beliefs on how I should live my life. I'm working towards breaking free from limiting myself based on their beliefs. Let the past go. Can we rewind time and go back to before we were both broken down by life? Our pasts hold us back from our future. Let's let go of what happened in the past and allow for a different type of connection to grow, because I'm not the same person as I once was, and neither are you. Hello, See the Gray. How are you doing? We have It's On. I see you looking good and moving on. I don't care who you're talking to. I'm better. I will compete for you. There's that whatever it takes energy coming through. Hello, WC. I appreciate your religious beliefs. Just keep in mind, this is not a forum for you to be able to judge other people's beliefs or threaten any kind of like you're going to a really hot place after life. Otherwise, we're going to block you, okay? I think we actually, let's go for the Love Oracle. Let's see what else we've got. Is it? I think it has some juice in it. What else do we have? I have Capri Sun in my fridge right now, so if anybody's gonna judge Rachel, you better judge me too. What else? Soulmates, deep love, unity, and connection. They view you as the one that got away. They feel a deep connection to you, and they feel like it was the distance with you or from you that finally convinced them they needed to work on this healing, and they're grateful to you for that. We have resentment, anger, and hurtful words. I think they had anger issues. I think they needed to forgive someone from their family or their past. But time has passed and they've made good use of it. They took that time to reflect. They thought about what it was that you said to them and what you mean to them, and that has inspired them to take a different approach and let go of the issues from the past. They have a different perspective now, and they're a happier person as a result. Even if they don't get a second chance with you, they're still going to be thankful to you for Mm, prompting this change or being a catalyst for this change. They want commitment. They don't want just like a let's hang out for a week and remember the good times. No, they want you to be by their side for the rest of it. Hello, Jorge. I hope that you enjoy your weekend, but we could talk about something a little bit more elevated. Get it? Ooh, see the gray. I don't like that. Not like you shouldn't say that, but brushing your teeth after orange juice. Eh. It's a very like visceral reaction. So we've got silence and realizations, frozen, no words, and stonewall, epiphanies, understandings, and awakenings. It is because you told me that I needed to work on myself that I was able to prioritize that and finally, um, you know, give the effort required for something like that. So Jorge, you're gonna get deleted if you call me baby, because I don't want to be called baby by you, okay? And my mods know that. So hello, Lemonade. Yeah, you've been put on just a little baby timeout. I would much prefer to be called Carmen than any pet name. And that's just a respect thing. So we've got finality and open heart. Farewells, leave behind closure, receptive, empathy, and vulnerable. I recognized what was the block in my relationship with you before, and that enables me to see this is something I need to cut out of my life. This is something I need to change on a fundamental level, and that would enable me to actually be in a meaningful relationship with you. They took it seriously. They they did not phone this in. So they appreciate and respect that you have boundaries. They anticipate that it might be a little bit difficult for you to want to connect with them again because they appreciate that they caused some turmoil or some drama in your life before, but they're still hopeful that they'll get another chance. Let's get a few from the Hidden Truth Oracle, and then we're going to start those personal questions, okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. That means a lot to me. So we've got, I knew exactly what I was doing. Finding out the truth crushed me. They were upset to find out that you were okay without them, but they acknowledged that they were the problem. I want to feel that way again. You're the only one that really showed them unconditional love. They had a misconception or a strange understanding of love before they encountered you. That's why they've actually shown themselves the care they need to in terms of healing after encountering you, right? Personal questions. You come here often. I like it. Hello, Flower. How are we doing today? Any guidance? Who am I supposed to be? What is in the way? Guidance, Lucas. And oh, I'm so glad to hear that for your son. I'm sure that will be helpful. And you know I love you too, girl. All right, I have added that. Thank you, Flower. Oh, I hope you feel better soon. Was it old cheese? You know, I'm just playing. What else do we have? Sorry, y'all. I'll start those personal questions after like 3 more cards from this. We have I want you. They're very attracted to you. I hide behind material things. And we both know I'm not the one for you. Is that your energy? You might feel like there's no way to mend this connection. And the individual you're dealing with, or the one who wants to come back for you, this could be somebody who, because of that insecurity or those anger issues that they had, they might have felt like they needed to compensate by having a lot of money or showing off in terms of like, check out my awesome, I don't know, Rolls Royce. Is that a thing? Do people still drive those? All right, let's dive into personal questions. What should we start with? I'm going to start with the Egyptian tarot. We've got Gracie, and then Joao, and then Indra, and then Rebecca, and Flower. All right, so for Gracie, does Jay have any long-term plans with me? For Gracie, does Jay have any long-term plans with me? Yes. I see a big one would be traveling. If Jay considers some sort of like, man, I would love to visit Spain. I would love to visit Argentina, Thailand. It's you that is pictured, you know, in the next plane seat. It's you that is riding the elephant with them, you know, whatever it is, they picture that adventure with you by their side, even though there is some acknowledgement that there's some, you know, boundaries or some difficulty, some distance between the two of you. And we've got the Six of Cups in the reverse and Judgment in the reverse. I do feel like there's some daydreaming in terms of having like living together or, you know, maybe even raising children together or having pets together. But that long term seems to be a little bit fuzzier for Jay. It it does look like more frequently what like the type of plans that are envisioned are traveling or adventuring with you. Yes, thank you for liking. I appreciate that. Hello, Tango. Thank you for the flower. We do have the Fool in the reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. There's some anxiety associated for this like daydreaming for Jay in that, you know, do I have enough to offer you? Will I be able to make enough money to make that work? Can I have the life that I want? Because there's something here where Jay feels like there's stagnation or like I'm stuck. I need to make some changes if I want to get to that point. All right. Let's see what we've got for Joao. What will happen between Raquel and Helena by the end of month? What will happen between Raquel and Helena by the end of the month? So we have 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, King of Wands, 5 of Wands in the reverse, the Hierophant, and the Ace of Cups in the reverse. And you see an argument but it's one that's been brewing for a while. With this Five of Wands in the reverse, this is like somebody who has been kind of pondering. There's introspection here, and it's over whether or not somebody has been intentionally misleading or like misrepresenting. So is this Raquel being a little bit suspicious of Helena? No, it's actually Helena being a bit judgmental or suspicious of Raquel, and that ends up starting an argument. Thank you, Tony. Was general about my first love. I've got that added for you. Thank you. So is this projecting? Yeah. So there's drama that follows Helena, in part because I see a pattern of behavior where if I'm doing something and I feel like somebody is about to expose that or get mad at me about it, I'm going to accuse them of something similar. Very manipulative. So like with the Hanged Man, it's like I'm gonna flip it on its head. I'm gonna make it your fault. So what will be Raquel's reaction to this? Oh no, you didn't. Like, are you being for real right now? Yeah, I think this is gonna cause the wrong kind of reaction, but in our eyes, probably the right kind of reaction. This projection is not going to be successful, and Helena is gonna get like the silent treatment, if not no contact. Yeah. So I'm getting nervous because somebody is trusting me less. So I'm going to start a fight, or I'm going to make you out to be the bad person. But the reality is, I was nervous that you were getting close to figuring out that I cannot be trusted. And what about between Joao and Raquel? What will happen by the end of the month? We have the Eight of Swords, the Four of Wands, Seven of Wands in the reverse, Page of Swords in the reverse, and the Three of Wands. I see a conversation about things that had been confused or misconstrued in the past. It's like setting the record straight. So someone had been dishonest with me or made me believe that you were the problem, and now I want your opinion because I feel like this person has been lying to you or to me, maybe also to you. But this is like, I think this is Raquel realizing Helena has been manipulative. And if I get your perspective, or if I really sit down and think about what's been going on here, I can realize that the person who's actually trustworthy is Joao. And I've been believing the person who's actually been pretty manipulative. So I see there being, quite frankly, I think it's an apology after some facts are discussed. Because I was previously in this Eight of Swords. I didn't know what was going on. I was trusting the wrong person. And now I'm getting a clearer picture of what happened. Yes. I agree, Joao. Thank you. Hello, Jamendra. Hello, Anne. How are we doing today? Hello, Frederick. Let's see what we've got for Indra, and I wish you well, Joao. So what will be going on in the next 3 months for Indra, please? What is going on in the next 3 months for Indra? This is the Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, yes, Tiana. And what is Rachel's opinion on that? Not to my knowledge, Flower. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm jealous, Flower. All right. Next 3 months for Indra, please. We have the Moon, the Queen of Potions, which is the Queen of Cups in the reverse. Strength in the reverse, and the Queen of Presents in the reverse. 5 of Potions or 5 of Cups in the reverse. It does look a little tricky, I'm not going to lie. There's someone that you are dealing with. Let me just see. Is this the ex? Yes. So look, you've got a couple different paths here. I feel like the ex is going to drag you back into the drama as long as you allow it. You also have the ability to avoid all of this drama if you just like lay down the law, i.e. probably blocking, right? But the more likely energy here is saying that you're going to continue to have somebody trying to emotionally manipulate you and claim that they are in a position of weakness and they need your assistance. But the problem is they are not actively a part of their own rescue. They're like, oh my gosh, help me. I keep falling into the pool. I can't swim, but oh gosh, I did it again. And I hesitate because I think we need to take seriously when people are caught in a struggle. I don't know. I think YouTube really doesn't like the word that starts with, well, that is spelled ABUSE. But this is someone who's caught in a pattern and doesn't seem to be willing to actually make any changes. If you've watched Vanderpump Villa, there are 2 characters that come to mind. I know, I shouldn't watch such shows, but I love Lisa Vanderpump, okay? I can't help it. This is great. This person's signing back up for it. Now, if you avoid this, if you block this person, your life is more peaceful. I don't feel like you have much impact, by the way, as to what happens with your ex. It's going to happen regardless. It's like, I just want another person there, and she's drawing from your energy. I don't feel like you can solve that problem, right? You can't really save her. I'm sorry to say it that way. But it's because she wants more of it. She's not going to stop going to that well. So with the 5 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and the Queen of Swords, I see you being able to focus on the things that need your attention in your own life. So it's basically put, the mask on for yourself first before you try to help other people. You have things that you can work on, and with that 6 of Swords, it's like you're able to move into calmer waters because you're able to put your energy into the things that are important for you. But it requires that you put up a little bit of a wall, right? Hello, Jayanta. How you doing? Hello, Pharaoh. Hello, Zachary. How are you doing? Yeah, I mean, the reality is, I always think it's a good idea to be helpful and be there, be a support for someone. But when it turns into emotional manipulation and an unwillingness to do anything for themselves to help themselves out of that situation, then it's a lot like quicksand and they're just pulling you down into that same issue, right? All right, this is the Masonic Tarot. And good luck to you, Indra. Let's see what we've got for Rebecca. What directional advice or guidance do we have for Rebecca, please? What advice do we have for Rebecca? We have the 8 of Gold, and in the Masonic Tarot, by the way, that would be the 8 of Wands. I know it's a little confusing. The Mallets would be Pentacles. And then we have the 7 of Wands in the reverse. So this feels to me like a conversation that needs to be had, but will be difficult. We have boundaries that need to be put in place. Thank you, Indra. Let me add that for you. Is my ex going to try to get me to move back into her place? So, Rebecca, what I'm seeing here, thank you, Indra, is that we've got a need for boundaries. It's a difficult conversation that you have. I feel like when you bring this conversation up with this person, you are hoping for a particular answer and instead you get a different answer. So, it's like someone overreacting or reacting angrily to something that you know is right, whether it's, I think I'm owed an apology or I don't like how this was handled. There's an immature response to it. And then the question here is, do I block this person or do I just continue to deal with this? And this feels to me like an a little bit of a dead end. Someone who doesn't want to accept that what you're saying is true. Someone who doesn't want to work on the issue at hand and will repeat the offense. Three of Swords, Six of Swords in the reverse. So boundaries, healthy boundaries are important. Having this difficult conversation that I think you feel will go not great. It's probably not going to go great because you're dealing with a person who doesn't really want to be honest about the role they play in this difficult situation. But I see you being able to overcome and manage the energy in a better way than you have in the past. We have the Emperor, the Ten of Wands or the Ten of Gold in the reverse, and the Page of Mallets or Page of Pentacles in the reverse, because you choose to no longer invest in this. It's you learning a lesson, but it's painful because I feel like you want so badly for this person to do the right thing or to, level up. Sometimes the right answer is tough love. So I see there being a greater sense of confidence and self that you gain once you have some distance between you and this person. And I feel like it's tricky to get to that point. It can feel really painful to cut someone out of your life. But this is a person who is blocking good things in your life through that negative energy. Ooh, I see you also potentially meeting someone new when that energy is cleared out with that 10 of Cups and 3 of Cups. Feel like this is a random meeting. Like maybe you're at the park at the same time. Maybe you frequent the same grocery store and there's like a flirtatious conversation. But I see there being something like a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel that helps you to feel like you still have a soul tribe or a good like social group around you. All right, let's see. Thank you, Rebecca. And I'm sending you protective energy. Let's see what we've got for Flower. What guidance does Flower need at this time, please? What guidance do we have for Flower? Magician in the reverse, 9 of Wands in the reverse, and the World. So there is some unprotected energy here for you. It's like you're letting someone have access that should not have access to your energy. And the advice is you need to make sure that if somebody is being manipulative with you, that you limit that access, even if it's not fully cutting them off. Like, for example, if it's your son's father, you probably have to have some conversation with him, right? But there's something here where a person has too much access to you, and when you limit that or your boundaries are improved with this person, it's like your energy is restored because it's not. It's like if you have your air conditioner in your car running, but you also have all your windows open. It ain't gonna work. So you gotta put the windows up, and then you benefit from the air conditioning. And what about who is Flower supposed to be? We have the 7 of Swords, Judgment, Queen of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. Well, you're a little bit of a trap flower, and I mean that in a positive way. People misjudge you. People see what you look like or see your energy and feel like you're going to be very loving, caring, maybe even like easy to manipulate. And you might be like, well, how do I get them to not see me that way? To be honest, that is your role. You do attract people in, and I think you are karma for those individuals who see your facade or your energy as something that they could potentially control or take advantage of. You lure them in with this energy, as is, I think, your role, but you end up actually being this King of Pentacles, someone that is much more grounded and stable than is expected. And it basically is meant to be a catalyst for a number of people to realize they need to be more perceptive, and they also need to like deal with their own energy and maybe like heal. It is through the loss of you that people are taught a lesson. So yes, that is, I believe, one of your purposes. And what is in the way? So we have the Five of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Seven of Cups. I would say the biggest thing seems to be trusting your own intuition. You're coming through as the Empress, but I feel like you don't see yourself that way, or you don't appreciate it as far as like the actual depth of that. You have accomplished so much, and a lot of people don't even reach that point until they're, like 90. But you've got some serious skills, and you need to give yourself credit for that because I feel like you have greater intuition than you give yourself credit for. So trust yourself more. That would be the obstacle. Hello, how's it going, Anne? Thank you for the tip. Let me add that for you. Will I release songs this year? I have added that for you. Thank you, Anne. And for Flower, we also have what guidance does Flower need regarding Lucas? And hello, Andre. How are you doing? Or is it Andrea? I'm sorry, whichever it is. Hello. Hello, San Miguel. What's up? Hello, Kritka. What advice does Flower need regarding Lucas, please? All right, so we had the Death card come out. Five of Wands in the reverse. High Priestess in the reverse. So Lucas is someone that is capable of being a pretty strong counterpart for you, but there is change required. And Lucas is at that point where, I don't know, maybe I'll even get the Two of Swords. It's like there's a crossroads here. Do I want to invest in this, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, or do I want to just kind of like sit back and like not care about it? And if Lucas chooses to invest in the right way, then I feel like this is someone who could step in and be that counterpart for you. So the advice here is be observant, be patient. Do not make a decision too quickly because you're going to see he'll reveal to you whether or not he's actually going to invest in those changes or invest in himself, really. But that is required before he can have like a seat at your table. So patience is a virtue, but trust your intuition. And Sun, your son is now in therapy. Any advice or insight with regards to that? I think you have made a good selection here in terms of the therapist. This is someone who I do feel is going to be able to get through to your son. And I do see there being a breakthrough or an epiphany here, an important opportunity for growth is achieved. I don't feel like this is going to be the therapist that he should stay with for long term. I feel like this is at most a year long with this person, and then there's a need to shift to a different type or somebody who specializes in something different, right? but this is the right person for right now. And I'm sending you and your son healing energy. I do feel like you are on the right path. Just got to trust yourself some more. And let's see what we've got for Tony. Was the general reading about Tony's first love? Was the initial reading, general reading about Tony's first love? There might have been some elements that apply, but there's also some pretty significant divergence from the general reading. So the biggest issue here is that there is, in the beginning, like the general reading, we had somebody who was really taking seriously their healing, but here, Tony, we have the Hermit coming through in the reverse. So this feels to me like someone gets started on their healing. They're very serious about it. They're very serious about you, and then they stop. It's like if you were, I don't know, trying to listen to your favorite music and then it gets interrupted by an ad, right? I'm sure my readings get interrupted by ads all the time. This is someone who gets stopped part way and they've only done part of what they need to. So, yes, it applies, but keep in mind that more patience is required for this person because they allowed themselves to get distracted. Let's see what we've got for Indra. Oops. The question being, is my ex going to try to get me to move back in? Is Indra's ex going to try to get Indra to move back in? No, at least not initially. And especially if you're able to leverage the boundaries that you need to, I do feel like your ex might feel like, okay, that is maybe a dead end. I don't know if I'm going to be able to influence that person or get what I want from that person. So is there someone else that they end up doing that with? I see there being someone else that your ex is talking to, trying to get them to move in. So even if it, and I don't think this is the person you know about. I think this is someone you don't know about or you know very little about. And that indicates to me that this is, at the end of the day, about getting attention. But there's someone else that your ex views as more likely to spend money or spend more money on your ex. And that's the person that they're going to try to get to move in with them. All right, let's see what we've got for Anne. And be cautious, Indra. I want you to be all right. It doesn't seem to be your battle. So for Anne, will Anne release songs this year? Yes, but it is going to be more complex or involved than you expect. You may have to connect with somebody new. We've got the moon and the 10 of wands. So it's almost like the path to that goal being achieved is a little bit, in the dark, or it's not as easy as it should be. But because of your determination, I do see you being able to accomplish that. There is someone here who's going to tell you that you can't do something or that you need to change something. It's funny because I was just watching the movie with Gary Busey as Buddy Holly, and one of the key takeaways was he was very insistent on having creative control over the music, and rightfully so. There's going to be someone here who tells you you need to make some sort of a change, and then you would be able to release those songs. And I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that person. They're wrong, and I feel like you're right. So don't give up that creative control or make this change that someone is desperately trying to convince you is required for you to be able to release that music. And good luck to you with that, Anne. I hope it's wildly successful. Hello, Lydia. How are you doing today? When will that commitment happen with Kay? When will the commitment with Kay happen for Lydia? We've got the Six of Cups, the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, and Justice. So I do feel like in 5 to 6, I feel like this is months. We have some significant progress, and then we also have a little bit of falling back into old ways. Let me just make sure. Is this months? Yes. 5 or 6 months is the most likely. Keep in mind when we're talking about when things will definitively happen, there are changes that happen. Just like today, you might feel determined to get Burger King or Hardee's. I'm not getting paid by them. And then you change your mind because the traffic is bad or they accidentally, fired people and now they don't have the staff. Whatever it is, it seems most likely that within 5 or 6 months there's a reconciliation or a reconnection, and then a temporary, like, oop, I'm a little bit scared. I'm going to fall back on that, and things change. And then you come back around, and that's when it seems to really take hold. So I would say by the end of the year, or maybe even for New Year's, but we've got with the moon in the reverse, some inconsistencies in terms of intentions that need to get worked out. Hello, Josh. How are you doing? I hope you've been enjoying your weekend. And I appreciate that, Anne. You are not the only perfectionist out there, but remember that sometimes we are our own worst critic. Oops, not that one. Let's go with the Crow Tarot. And hello, Lee. How are we doing today? Do you think that people will gossip about me today at this wedding? Sorry. I guess I'm thinking about lawn care. Will there be gossip about Lee or Lee's husband at the wedding? Yes. Not very much. I do feel like it's very minimal and maybe just right when you get there. We have Four of Pentacles in the reverse, Six of Swords in the reverse, Temperance, and Judgment. I think it's very minimal, but not non-existent. And then there is some other topic that gets brought up or, a focus on the actual wedding itself. Is there any reason for Lee to be concerned about the dress? Yeah, I mean, I think it's appropriate, and there's probably still going to be, people like to judge these things, but I think you're going to be fine. Very minimal issue. The problem seems to really be at the end of the night when people get a little bit crazy. That's when it's good to be out of the picture or back at home in your jammies, All right. Is there, for Indra, and good luck to you, Lee, is there someone better that Indra will meet? So the individual in your future may have Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius in their chart. This is somebody who is going through some pretty significant changes or like a dark night of the soul at this point. And I do feel like the most likely place for you to meet this person is a place that is geared towards fitness. Now, that could literally mean a gym, or that could mean, like a retail shop where you buy tennis shoes or yoga mats, or a smoothie shop. But it's a place that focuses on wellness. And this is someone who is dedicated to improving said wellness, but they've also been dealing with a lot of toxic energy from other people. This is dependent upon you making the right choices in terms of who is allowed in your life. If you are allowing, for example, your ex to still be in your life, you may miss this opportunity. Not because you're distracted. Yeah, that's probably part of it. But if you have this X energy still in your life, the universe considers you to still be investing in things that are not good for you, that you know are not good for you. So it's very important to cleanse your energy and let go of those that are making it a little bit more difficult for you to have that positive energy enter your life, right? So, not to tell you what to do or anything, but don't get distracted by people who are intentionally stuck. Hello, Fabi, how are you doing? I'm hungry again, so I'm gonna go eat some lunch. I love you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping the video if you're able to, and I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles.